Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and I just thought I would talk about how to use some of my favorite collaboration tools. You guys are probably familiar with like Trello and Asana, which are great. But there's two tools that, at least when it comes to like programmers, I don't see often as used for collaboration. And that's Notion and Airtable. So first I'm going to go over Airtable in this video, and then I'll do a separate video on Notion, which is really super cool. But maybe first thing I'm going to do is just kind of show you just kind of the layout and how you can use this to kind of do what you do with, like, let's say a Trello or something like that, because you can do that. So let's say here, let's say we just make a very simple table. So this is just going to be like a task. Okay. Or let's see here. We're going to say this is we'll call this a project, or call this a task. Okay. All right. Well, I want to change this task. So this is where I'm changing the field name, and there's all sorts of different cool field types. So this is a database. Airtable is basically an online database. So if you've used databases before, you'll get the idea. But you have a bunch of cool tabs, possible fields, but I'm just going to keep this real simple. So this will be a task. These are different tasks of different projects. Save. So this is going to be our task table. Okay, we're going to have a project table. Create an empty table. This will be the projects, okay, that where we have on as part of the team. And again, you can invite other people to your team. So you would just click right over here, share, and then you can invite other people to collaborate on this. Okay, so well, different projects. Okay, clients, so that we can say, okay, which clients the projects are part of, and then subtasks. Okay. So if we go back to the task table, we can just call this, we can change this back to name. So the name of the task, notes on the task. Okay. Then I want to create another field. So I'm going to insert a field to the right, and I want to call this status. Okay, because I'm going to need this for my Kanban. So I want to single select. Okay, and we can set our options here. So we'll just say on hold, in progress, in review, complete. Okay, cool. And then again, each task should belong to a particular project. So we should create a field called project, and that will link to the projects field. Okay, can it belong to multiple projects? No, we'll say every task belongs to one project. So we'll uncheck that. Okay, so it's a one-to-one, one-to-many relationship. One project can have many tasks, but every task can only have one project. And then, cool. So that's that field. So just put a couple tasks here. So I'll say task 1, task 2, task 3, and I'll say this one is on hold, this one is in progress, and this one is in review. So now I can actually create new views from several different options. So I can create a Kanban board. So for those who are used to working with Kanbans like Trello, you just go here and you'll say, hey, we're going to create a Kanban based on status. Okay, and now I can, just like a normal board, I can move stuff around and work from here. And then I can add records there and, you know, just do your normal sort of Scrum-tastic workflow. But again, I can create all these sort of other relationships. Okay, and then I can create, you know, status here and have a separate Kanban for on a project level and a client level. Okay, Sorry, my bird is uh, wanting of attention. Okay, so let's create project 1. I mean, once it's all set up, this gets pretty nice. Project 2, project 3. Okay. And then what will happen here, we'll have tasks. So we'll just say all the tasks belong to this project. There we go. Cool. So I can see which tasks belong to which project here. And then we want to add people on the team. So we'll have another tab for team members. Okay, and we'll have like Steve, Bob, Joe, and they're generally going to be assigned to a particular task. Okay, so we're going to go back over here. I'll go back to grid view. I'll do it from there. And I'm going to add another field called, it's another link to another record. And this one will link to a team member so we can see who's assigned. We'll call this who this is assigned to. So I can say, hey, this tag, and you can have multiple people assigned to it. So I'll say, this will be assigned to Steve. And this one is assigned to Bob. This is also assigned to Bob. Okay, and then I go back to the Kanban view. Okay, and then I can kind of change how this is viewed. So I can be like, oh no, I actually would like to see who this is assigned to. So I'll move the assigned to field up above the line. Okay. For hidden fields. Add a field to this table. Oh no, I don't want to do that from there. Oh well, I ended up with another field. Let me delete that field. I want to move this field. Actually, I can just probably do it from here. Change it from there? No. Can I change it from here? Unhide field. There we go. There we go. So now when I look at this, I can see this task is on hold, and it is, and actually we don't need the status field there, so I can take that out. So hide field. And see, that's a much better view. I can be like, okay, of all the on hold tasks, and actually maybe I want to add what project it's for. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go over here, and I would like to unhide project. So I can be like, okay, so this task is for project 1, assigned to Steve. Cool, that's very neat. And then if I want to see the full detail, I can click on it and then go and see all the full details. And I can create other grid views. I can create forms. If you have a date field of some sort, you can have them laid out on a calendar. You can have a gallery field. It just kind of shows each one is in a little bit of a block. So if I were to, let's take a look at that. Okay, and then just list them out. It just doesn't stack them inside categories. It just has, each one gets its own separate card. And let's get rid of those 2 blank records. So there's these 2 records here. I'll right click, delete the selected records. Clean that up. Okay, now subtasks. So these might have subtasks. So let's go insert right. Okay, so these are going to have a subtask as part of the major task. Okay, and it's going to link to another record, subtasks. Okay, yep, and you can have multiple subtasks, so that works for me. Cool, and then if I go to subtasks, I'm going to edit task table here. And each one can only be linked to one task in that direction. Okay. And just create some subtasks. And I will say this one's associated with this one. This one is associated with that one. And now I should be able to make a Kanban of that. Let's give it a shot. Now I have to create a new single select field, so that doesn't, oh wait, to represent each record assignee or owner. New collaborative field. Okay, I'll have to play with that feature. but nope. I will leave that alone. Okay, but you can see you can create all sorts of different relationships. You can really customize it. And I mean, your team can just end up just focusing right here on this section, but it's really neat. And I mean, we're not only scratching the surface here. I haven't even talked about like a lot of the other kind of fields you could make. So if I just insert another field just to see what the varieties are, I mean, you can create checkboxes, multiple select, single selector, collaborative field. So that way you can select which collaborator. So I could have done that instead of this assign to field. So let's do that. Customize field. Let's customize field type. Let's actually make this a collaborator field. Okay, allow adding multiple collaborators. Let's say no. Collaborators when they're added, sure. Yes. Okay. And now I can just be like, okay, it's really just me right now. So I assign myself. But now I can create a Kanban view based on who this is assigned to. So we'll create another Kanban view. This one will be based on the assigned to field. Now I can see all the tasks specifically assigned to me. Again, I can customize it. That's pretty neat. So you can create multiple views. Let's go back to editing the table. Let's add another field. And then you get all these other fields here. Okay, I don't know what a roll-up field is, but a formula field is where you can create, do some sort of formula based on the field information you have to create something interesting. A count, like summarize, counts a certain amount of linked records. So I can count like how many subtasks are in there. What's roll-up do? A roll-up allows you to summarize data from records that are linked to this table. That's neat. Lookup, so you can bring up something from another related table. Create a time, last modified, auto number, barcode. Interesting. Let's take a look at that one. Use the Airtable iOS render to scan barcodes. Interesting. That is cool. You can also include what's called a block if you have a pro account. Okay, and blocks add all these extra new features. Okay, so you can add like scripting, pivot tables, flashcards, all sorts of really fun stuff depending on what you're trying to do. So, I mean, it's a pretty robust, so you can create a really robust platform for working with your team. Now, again, does that mean all teams are going to need that level of power? Okay, if you're just basically doing a basic Kanban for a really small project, you probably don't need all this. But this can be quite powerful for more long-term projects that might have a lot of stuff going on, and there's all sorts of ways to extend the functionality of this. So that's Airtable. Airtable is really cool. I really like it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and again I wanted to show you guys some different collaboration tools that I like. This is Notion.so. This is also really cool because it mixes a lot of the collaboration features like notes and task lists and all this stuff, but also combines a wiki. You can create pages and summarize a project and actually create documentation for your project as you do a project, and then still have all those other cool collaboration tools. So you can, again, invite people to a team on one of these spaces on Notion, and then you just build up your workspace by adding pages. So let's say here, I just click here and I add a page, but then I can go here and there's different ways to set up the page. So I can make this page a table, I can make it a board if I want to do like a Kanban, a list, a calendar, gallery. So there's a couple different database options. Then I can go here and insert different things in here. So if I want to insert, again, if it's just like a page for like in a wiki sense, because you're just trying to create documentation, you could do that. If this is a page for a particular project and you want to create a to-do list, you can add a to-do list with checkboxes. Okay, and then you have all these other things you can do. You can link to other pages. You can make references. They can link to each other. Again, you can make tables and boards. So you basically have a built-in database as well. So you can do a lot of that stuff that I mentioned before, but you also can link to all these other cool stuff. You can include pictures to make it look real nice. And make this kind of a really useful space for sharing information, not just organizing tasks and managing a project, but documenting the project, documenting information that's important to the project, and pulling in multimedia from all sorts of different places relevant to your project and connecting to a lot of the platforms you may be using to do your project. So I mean, look, like here, like if you want to put samples of codes from CodePen, or put in a PDF with some particular documentation, there's a lot of different choices. You know, Framer for creating like and Figma for creating like prototypes, and what's the word I'm looking for? Wireframes. Link to the GitHub repository. You can embed these things, which makes life a lot easier for everybody on the team to kind of get access to what they need. So this is pretty cool. It's a pretty robust platform. And there's all sorts of templates already built in, and all sorts of really, really neat stuff. So this is also, I think, a tool I don't hear enough people using when it comes to collaboration. Yes, things like Trello can be a lot easier because they just kind of have that whole Kanban set up right out of the box. But things like Airtable and Notion here really offer a robust set of tools that do some really interesting stuff. And let me just actually try to see here. Let's set a board and give it a shot. See how that looks like. And see, it's all set up. So you can just create one page. It's just your, that is the Kanban board with all the normal Kanban features. It's basically your Trello. And then that's set up, and then continue doing your documentation from there on each project. And basically the space just becomes a sort of a wiki of all your projects, and then you have your Kanban that summarizes all the tasks, and you can also have other database type features. It's pretty cool the way this is designed. So, and again, you can always share it and bring other people into the team so you guys can work together using things like this. So yes, that's Notion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Leave comments with some of your favorite collaboration tools. My name's Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Have a great day and enjoy.